What is up, beautiful people? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by AutoSkin Detail. Give them a follow on Instagram, like a couple pictures, show them some love. This podcast is also brought to you by Cinder, fulfilling all of your cannabis needs in Spokane. Visit them at cindersmoke.com and order your buds before you get to the store. Let's go!
Yo, I'm just happy to be here.
What is up, beautiful people of the world? My name is ExZac Change, and I'm happy to be here today with my guest, local business owner, detail wizard, Cody Duncan.
What's up, dog?
Hey, man. Usually when we get on here, we're just bullshit. Today we're serious.
Well, I guess so.
We're talking business. I want to know, man, because
You made the call, and I said I would love to fill it in, you know?
well, I think that there's a lot of people out there that really just want to start a business. A lot of people want to do a lot of things, but I feel like it's the very beginning steps in the organization or the not knowing how to kind of put the pieces together. So that's why I wanted to get you on, so maybe you could kind of explain how you've put together your business and then, maybe be able to help out some of these younger kids or
Sweet.
people inspiring to be like you.
Totally. Well, just to fill you and the people in, I have a auto detail shop here in Spokane. It's called AutoSkin. It is basically like a car wash detail shop, and we are on next Friday. It's next Friday, June 5th. Mm-hmm. That'd be the 5-year mark.
Oh wow!
Yep. So rewind 5 years before next Friday. I was working for someone, and a couple months before that. But I was working for someone and detailing cars, and I remember the day too. It was the day everything changed was when I figured out that the guy that I worked with next to me was flagging and getting like a cash commission for each car he detailed. And I was working by the hour.
And you're like, whoa. So this dude's, being able to excel and pull in more money, and I'm just making...
Well, I remember I went over to the service department and I said, oh, that Audi over there, I did that. And so whatever the flag rate is or whatever, if I could get that, that'd be great. And the lady looked at me and said, you're not on flag hours. You just work by the hour. And I said, oh, really? And I went in to the manager and said, I would like to get flagged hours just like the other guy who works here. I'm just as capable. He's been doing it a lot longer than me, but I do more cars and I remember the look on his face, like as if I was taking something from him. And at that, I left his office upset. And about 10 minutes later, I walked back in and I said, I need to find something else to do. And he was my friend. And he said, well, what's the plan? Like, what are you going to do? And I just said, 2 weeks from now, I'm just not going to be here, And,
how was that? I mean, telling your friend that. I mean, but you just kind of had to make a tough decision.
Well, I mean,
for yourself.
Here's the thing about like getting in business for yourself. No one's gonna think it's a good idea for you. Mm-hmm. No one. Not your best friend. Not your mom. Not your wife. Not your girlfriend. Nobody is gonna think it's a good idea, and you have to believe in yourself and say, I can do this because I'm capable. I'm a natural salesman and I have the skills to do this. I just need to get off my ass and do it. But no one around you, the closest people to you, matter of fact, will tell you it's not possible.
And what is that, you think? Do you think that's fear?
A little bit of fear.
Or their own failure?
Well, here's the thing is people want to see you do well, but they do not want to see you do better than them. It's a big point. They want to see you do good.
Do you think that's like a psychological, just kind of a thing that they don't really realize?
Well, people believe that they're in competition with their peers. Even though they're not in the same field, it's just they're just in this life competition. And so, going back to that, doing well but not doing as good as not doing as good as yourself, is they just don't want it to be successful in the sense that like they don't want you to fail, but they also kind of don't want you to succeed. If you were to say, hey, I'm going to try this for a little bit, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to back away, then people will be like, oh, okay, I understand. But if you approach it like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to be doing this 10 years down the road and spin it into something else, people will tell you it's not possible. It doesn't matter what it is.
I wonder what that is.
And that's well, it's about who you surround yourself with, honestly.
But like you said, you kind of said best friend, wife, family. Like, it's just, is it kind of just like a instinctual thing to kind of be like, oh, that's risky. I don't know. I don't know if I would go that. I don't know if I would do that kind of a thing.
Yep. Because what happens is people end up, they have chosen a path, and their path either is successful or they plan on it being successful. And so
it hasn't gotten there yet.
And so to them, they're thinking, I don't know about like my plan. I'm going to get there, but whatever you're deciding to do right now, that shit ain't going to work. You know what I mean?
I think
in their brain.
I think it's hilarious how that doubt will quickly turn to inspiration when you are successful, and people are like, "Oh wow, how'd you do that?"
Well, I think about this all the time. What is the definition of a business being successful?
More money coming in this year than last year?
Okay. Well, then,
isn't that like the expectation of business is that somehow you're supposed to consistently be...
You're supposed to grow.
Every year.
Yeah, sure.
Which
and
is
I
crazy.
mean, if that is the definition of a successful, I'm so used to not kind of like patting myself on the back because that shit doesn't do you any good. You know what I mean? But if the definition of successful is growing every year, we're successful.
Yeah.
I think the definition of successful would be to make your own schedule, provide an income for the people that you love, and be free, basically.
And being in a business probably that's going to last the test of time.
Totally. And you never really know what... I mean, some people kind of go into things knowing that, hey, this is going to be around 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And other things, you just kind of get lucky. Like, for instance, in our situation, the COVID virus absolutely did nothing to us. It was shocking, right? So the COVID virus comes in.
So
all these
you guys
businesses
down
get shut down. We slowed. We're probably about 70%. Of what we normally would do. But the COVID virus comes through. A lot of people have to shut down business. We happen to sneak in right in there where we are considered essential because auto maintenance was able to stay open.
Yeah.
And we technically are auto maintenance. And people want to forget the past in terms of this virus. And so what ends up happening is they contact us and say, my car's dirty. I've had people in it. I don't know what they had. I need it cleaned up.
Yeah, true.
And so the car lots shut down, but normal people on the street were more like, hey, this is what, I need my car, cleaned up.
Do you guys deal with rentals at all? Or?
You mean like rental cars companies?
Yeah. Do they get their stuff cleaned for you guys? Or?
Not so much. We've done some stuff for enterprise, but very little.
I just rented a car, so I was curious.
Most of our business comes from car lots up and down in our Sprague.
Yeah.
Yep, in our in our town here. So,
but you're saying it's been more just people off
personal,
the street.
yeah, because the car lots took a back seat because of they did have to shut down because they're selling vehicles, and so it made a big difference, with the way that we actually are working, where we're doing more personal cars, but the main thing is about getting into a field that is going to last everyone drives a car. There's so many cars. I used to sell cars, and we would sell at the Hyundai lot, we would sell 90 cars a month, right? And so that's one lot. So take that times 30 in town. There's a lot of new cars on the road every year. And so with those cars, their old cars get traded in. Those traded in vehicles need to be on the lot looking retail ready. That's where we come in. We take the old worn out things and make them look new so that they can sell them for retail. And that seems to have worked for us.
I feel like a lot of people, when they think of a detail car, especially just like a regular person that's not too like well versed in what detailing is like people are going to be like, well, what's the difference between me just taking my car down to the little vacuum spot and vacuuming my shit out and then taking it through the car wash? How is that different than bringing it to the detail shop?
So with auto detail, it's basically, we call it like a renovation style detail. So you could just vacuum your car out, but all the little areas that are kind of annoy you the most about your car being dirty, that's what you call us for. So a scuff here, you kind of rubbed up on another car there, and you can see the paint transfer.
Oh, so even outside.
All that.
Oh, wow.
Everything. So everything that would make everything that would make somebody come up and look at a vehicle and give you top dollar for it, that's what we do.
So all those little crevasses,
baby.
Being able to get in there and because a lot of times they'll vacuum your shit out and there's always some shit you can't get. So you got little tools that you pull in. Are you getting in the little? Absolutely.
Yep. I can't give you all the tricks of the trade, but we can make a vehicle look, smell, feel new. We do it every day.
Wow.
Every single person who comes in retail off of the street who has any concerns, they leave smiling, saying, I don't know how you guys did that. And every detail shop can do that. It's just a matter of pulling it off consistently, getting a consistent product that hits the road, and having those people who spend money with you come back over and over and over.
You treating the customers right, doing a good job.
Yep.
All that good stuff.
It's just like anything. What you want to do is, and this is a tip for any kind of business, right? You want to undersell and over-deliver. And if you can pull that off, if you can say, yeah, I'm going to make it look new, it's going to look good, and then you make it look awesome, then those people are going to then talk about that experience. They're going to then say, hey, their friends are going to say, your car looks nice, and then they're instantly going to say, this is how I made it nice. It's by going to this guy. A lot like a barber, a lot like a hairdresser, or painter.
I just think like psychologically it's so beneficial, and I think that a lot of people overpromise and then underdeliver.
It's the opposite. And if you can take your ego and put it to the side and just really listen to what people are asking for. Hey, I'm dropping my car off. This is this is what I'm looking at, and it's an eyesore. If you can just, because every vehicle's different, they have what we call pain points. So someone will drop a car off, and you got to figure out, sometimes they won't tell you, but you got to figure out what they're thinking. You know what I mean? Your interior is not too bad. What exactly in here is the biggest? It's the cup holders. This, or in between the seats. It's this. You have
the thing that's really like kind of pissing them off. The reason they're there.
Yeah, I mean, if they told you in between the seats is horrible, then that means that when they pick it up, they're just going to look in between the seats. But if you can figure that out without them telling you, they think
you murdered it. They're like, wow, you're a wizard.
They think you read their mind. And this is every business, right? Every single business, you got to kind of put yourself in a role where you're kind of reading their mind and saying, okay, I understand what you're putting down, and I'm going to pick it up and do it.
I mean, asking questions is always the best. Like when I'm selling somebody some weed and they come in, like the easiest way for me to find out what they want is just to say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you going to go do? Oh, I'm going disc golfing. Okay, I got you.
Perfect. Exactly. And the way you would explain that, the way you would undersell and over-deliver when you're selling weed would say, this should do real good. I think you'll like this.
And then they're like, wow.
And you know it's the funk. And so the next time they come in, they say, you think I'll like this?
Dude,
Zach, that was the best weed I've ever had.
That's it. And I try to do that with everybody because I want people to be blown away. Every time I'm selling somebody something, no matter what it is, I'm attached to it somehow.
That's how it works.
By their memory, by something. They're going to smoke that shit and they're going to be like, this motherfucker gave me this bullshit. He said it was fire. Or they're just going to be like, he said it was all right. All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy must smoke the fire. I need to go see that guy every time.
I see it, bro. I see it when they come back in and someone tries to help them and they go, no, I'm going to wait for him.
And that's how that works. If you can spin that into your life motto, and I'm talking everything. If you go to your wife or your girlfriend and say, I'm gonna clean up a little bit when you go hang out with your friends, I'm gonna clean up a little bit, and then you flip the house.
Because she's got low expectations. She's like, oh, he's probably just going to, do the kitchen. And then she comes home like, oh, it smells nice. Whoa.
Yeah. You rearranged a little bit.
You even straighten the pictures on the walls.
That's what it's about. And if just think of the other way, I'm going to clean the house top to bottom, babe. It's going to be perfect when you get home.
Oh, yeah.
You see how that works? Even though
works.
that's what you're going to do and in your head, you just have to sell it a little different.
I feel like that you actually act different when you undersell or oversell. So
Yes.
if you oversell it, I feel like you're going to probably not get as much done.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I'm going to do so much. And then you're probably going to get on your phone and be looking around.
Yeah.
And you leave yourself more room to be a hero
Yep.
if you undersell.
Yep.
Because then if you did a little bit, then you're still fine. And if you do a lot, then people are very impressed.
Totally. It's called, like, I noticed it's like creating a cushion in everything. If you need to be somewhere by 2, then you should probably consider yourself you need to be there by 1:30.
I feel like there's a lot of people, especially younger people, who just don't understand the value of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole life thing is a game.
Yeah.
And playing the game correctly, which means, really delivering to people. So if you're 15 minutes or 10 minutes early, if you're getting something done above and beyond, and like you said, under promise, all these things are going to cause people to say great things about you and to recommend you and to want to do great things for you as well. Like, this is how you really help yourself get ahead.
Totally.
By helping, by going above and beyond, under promising, over delivering. And that's what you guys are doing, man. That's
yeah. And I'm a firm believer in, you can't tell people you're on, or you're doing well, or you're prospering in what you're doing. When you say it to somebody, I'm doing well, it means something, but it doesn't mean as much as somebody else saying he's doing well.
Dude.
See how that works?
Like in sales in general, when I used to do door to door, and I'd go up to somebody and I would be like, hey, listen, this is going to save you money. This is amazing. And it was, right? Mm-hmm. But they would, and then as soon as I could get their neighbor, if their neighbor would be like, oh, no, Jack, that's good.
It's different.
That's good. Then all of a sudden he's like, oh, it is? Oh, okay. I'm like,
Yep.
But
it's just the way life works. It's like you're only as poppin' as people believe you are. You know what I mean?
And everybody's going to say they're poppin'.
Exactly.
But how many people have people that are going to be like, no.
It's poppin'.
No. Like,
that's how life works, right? You can't go around bragging, and people do, and they're successful at it. That's fine. But the point of it is you're only as on as people assume you're on. Mm-hmm. So if something seems exclusive, then it is, right? If something seems like, if somebody says this is some exclusive streetwear, and they're telling you that,
I don't feel like it's exclusive now.
See how that works? And so going back to kind of what we were talking about, is it's like, when in the whole detail world, you have to undersell, over deliver. You have to do what you say you're going to do, and then
this is just the business world.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
Just any small business. Yours just happens to be detail.
Mine just happens to be detail.
But this could apply to
If
you had a new restaurant, bar,
lawn cutting, general contracting, anything. This might take a week. You get it done in 3 days. I'm thinking your lawn's going to cost $40. You do it quickly and you say it's only $35. And I'll do it for $35 for the rest of whatever. And this undersell, over deliver attitude will take you far. And I learned that from selling cars. Actually, I learned that from talking to people, saying, I don't know what they'll do in there. I don't know. You could offer $1 for this car, but we're going to be realistic. We're going to go in there and sit down, and we're just going, you tell me what you'd pay for it. And if we could do that, would you? It's all, if I could, would you? Mm-hmm. That's
is there, do you find that there's like a weird element to life that, in a way, when you don't try, things come easier? And I don't mean don't try like no effort, but like not, like, it just seems you can attract things to you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you're pursuing them, it's like you're pushing them further away. Mm-hmm. Whereas as soon as you stop and you just do you, or you just focus on the goal and stop trying to, it just kind of finds itself right to you.
You just explained how to get a girlfriend.
I feel like that's one thing that it applies to.
It applies very well to that. It applies very well to that. The second you start not looking at getting a girlfriend as something you need to do, and more so looking at like, I'm the catch. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm the catch, and whatever, I want to meet somebody who can add to what I've got rolling. You're gonna you're gonna get opportunity.
Well, when you work on yourself and you're just kind of honed in on that, people see that.
Absolutely.
And like, oh, what are you doing? You know, he's not even looking for this. He's not even on girls' pages dropping hearty eyes and doing all like, this guy's just working. He's just made this, or he's working on the career. And I think that's what a lot of people miss, just in a lot of senses. But one thing I'm really interested from you is like the patience that I think it must take to build something from the ground up. Because a lot of people maybe have that inside them, right? And they're really like, man, I want to start a business. Like, I have these ideas, but how to like calculate and how to be patient and how to kind of be able to actually put that into motion rather than.
Yeah, totally. Well, to kind of give you an idea how it worked. So I got my business license for what I'm doing currently on my 30th birthday. It came in the mail on the day. I was in business the day I turned 30.
Wow.
Which was always something I told people, because I was told that. When I was like 25, I had a guy, I worked at a dispensary in Seattle, and the guy said, I can tell you're going to do something great. And he said that it's all going to come to you when you're 30 years old. He was like, when I was 29, I had no idea what I was doing. The day I turned 30, this guy was probably 40. The day I turned 30, I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. And coincidentally, my business came in the day I turned 30 years old.
What do you think that is?
It's just you in your brain it's your brain telling yourself that enough is enough in terms of like the whole playing around type thing. And some people it's a little later. Some people it's earlier. Some people it's 20, you know. I'm 10 years behind on some people.
I see it.
You know?
And I'm just damn.
And it's really crazy because the day I turned 30, business license comes in the mail. I already knew what I was doing. I went out. I shook hands with people. I went to car lots and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. And that exact day, very first day in business, I landed an account that over the next year gave me $30,000.
Wow. And that was that first day.
First day in business.
You were probably so ambitious that first day.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't know.
Excited.
I had no idea. I was just like, I called my wife and said, I got an account, and it's they said I can take cars, and they've got 3, and I grabbed one of them, went and got it cleaned, brought it back. I'm just working by myself. I actually was renting a spot in a parking lot, and I put up a carport tent, and that was my detail shop. I would wheel out a cart with a vacuum in it. I was using air from inside the shop where I was at. Yeah. And I would pull the car under the tent, detail it, I'd be out of the sun. I wasn't even in a shop. I was in a parking lot with a tent. And I would detail the car, get it done, take it back, get another one. And that turned into, now the shop is 8,000 square feet with signage and a constant flow of cars. We have 15 cars waiting for Monday.
How long has it been open?
You said we're going on 5 years. Wow. Yeah.
5 years next Friday.
5 years next Friday.
Wow, man.
Yeah. And it was just one of those.
So that means you're 35?
That means I'm 35.
Damn.
And every year I celebrate my birthday. I also celebrate, the birthday of
your baby.
Yeah, of my baby, which is awesome. And sometimes,
you have a baby now, but
yeah, I have a child too. But sometimes I honestly sit there and like, I'm not one to sit back and reflect a lot, but I do sometimes sit back and reflect like, damn, like I got lucky.
No, you don't reflect a lot.
I don't sit back and pat myself on the back or sit back and look around and say, this is nice, because I'm always, I come from, and this is a big point for anybody who makes music. I come from rapping for free. Okay. I sold cars for a long time, but I made music and hustled hard for years for no money. And so the second I started figuring out that if I could do this and it does make money, I had a foot up on everybody because I was used to working for free.
Yeah.
And so I would take pay cuts on things because it was a lot less money because I'm used to just putting all my attention and energy into something and getting nothing in return.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I can't say that music is nothing because it's art and it is valuable, and I loved making music. I loved performing music, and anybody I guess who know me would know, yeah, like you could tell I love that shit, and I did. But I had to quit wasting time. I was used to doing shit for free. And so when it comes down to actual business that pays money, I mean, you can't turn away. It's just like, oh, this shit's working. You know what I mean? And really, realistically, the easy way, like to take it back to like Acorns, the way you got to look at it is if you can replace the income you make currently by working for yourself, regardless of the field, that would be the first step to get into business for yourself. If you're making $400 a week, and you go out there and you can find anything that can give you $400 a week, but you own it, you're making a right decision.
And that's a much easier way to look at it.
Yeah,
like
because
smaller.
that's why I said taking it way back down to to peons. Is I replaced a $270 a week job, and so I was like, hold on a second, details go about $200. I'm gonna charge $150, and if I'm reading the math right, I have to do 2 details in a week to replace the income that I was making. And so then I was like, okay, well, you know, so my price needs to be around $150. I went out and I talked to different clients. I talked to different places and say, what are you charging? What are people charging for detail? Oh, we're at $175. We don't want to pay $1 more. Okay, so let me just try, you know, and just you tell me what you think. Bring a car back. They say it's perfect. I love it. You know, okay, well, I'm going to be at 150. I'm not going to be at 175. You know, and to them, it's a no-brainer. You're talking to people you're talking to sales managers. You're talking to people who manage money. And so it's not their money. It's the owner of the business's money. And so to them, if you can do them a favor by making things less money, they go to their owner and say,
make them look good.
Yeah, exactly. It's an easy button. You know, they want to push an easy button and show the owner, hey, I'm really good at my job. You know, and so if you can schmooze that guy, bring him coffee every once in a while.
And help him out. And help
You bring him a sandwich every once in a while. What do you want for lunch? I like turkey sandwiches. Sweet, I'm bringing you lunch. If you can smooze that guy, he'll give you 100 cars a year. And he doesn't think anything of it because he's not fitting the bill. A
lot of times it's all, you hear it a million times, but it's who you know and like your network is your net worth, things like that. Definitely. All those things, man. And not squandering the opportunity. If somebody gives you the opportunity, you should really look at that as a big deal.
I was hoping you'd say that word, opportunity. It's all about getting in front of someone, getting an opportunity, undersell, over-deliver, treat them right, smile when you see them, even if you're having a bad day, because this could mean $30K in a year. You know, that's one account.
Plus, it makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. You know, it's just when you just treat people the right way, especially in business, because a lot of people go in with overcritical, kind of like just looking for some shit to be fucked up. You know, so when your customer service is on point and your service is on point, that under promise over deliver is probably, you know, one of the biggest ones.
It is the biggest thing. I did it the first day I was in business. I do it today. That's 5 years later. I'll be doing it 10 years from now. It doesn't necessarily, the job you do doesn't necessarily matter. As long as you're able to do it, you're okay with doing it, where it's like, this doesn't take much time and it's not what I actually want to do in life, but I'm going to be signing my freedom ticket by doing it, then the rest is history. If you're a salesman, if you work somewhere and you sell anything, you can own your own business.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
I think sometimes people maybe find trouble pinpointing what that business is.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people look at business like art, and they want to be like, ooh, I want to be an interior decorator and I want to do this and that, or I want to make music, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the main thing is that type of stuff comes to the people who love it dearly. Like deep down, they absolutely love doing it. And so they'll do it for free, and they'll put all their energy into it for free. Those are the people who that pays off for, right? But if you can figure out how to just get in a lane where people trust that you know what you're doing, I mean, you can do that stuff on the side.
Well, a lot of it is finding a commodity, right?
Totally.
Or something that, like something.
Totally.
I know you've told me this before,
Everybody's grass grows.
Mm-hmm. So
You know
it needs
what I
to
mean?
be cut.
Everybody's
hair
grass
grows.
Everybody's hair grows. Dude, barbers make loot. I don't know if a lot of people don't realize that barbers do very well. $30 a cut, takes 30 minutes. Let's just say 50 an hour, 8 hours. Do the math. They take weekends off, or Sunday, Monday off.
You're flexible.
Yeah.
So you can come in. Oh yeah, I'll come in on a Saturday and do my friend's hair, make a little money. Just take me a couple hours, just do one cut.
For sure.
Like
And
my mom cuts hair, bro, and she just. When you have like you get a loyal clientele, you're getting good tips, you take care of them, they take care of you. It's just like you got to do something that you have to find something that if you are an artist of any kind, you should think of something that you're good at that can provide to people something that they need.
Yes.
People need music.
Yep.
True. Over the time, music has gotten less valuable monetarily. So it's,
you just got a lot more fish in the sea now. A lot of people
value of it too. I mean, dude,
Totally.
we used to go buy an album for $14.
And we used to pay the money because it was harder to do.
Now Spotify's free.
Yeah.
If you don't even have to get the membership, you get on there, and you just, you can just listen to music. It's like, there's not much of a payout. And even shows is like the only thing that is, and I like to kind of talk to it in terms of music, because I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast are artists or inspiring to be artists or something similar to what you're doing, trying to take something. Oh yeah, man, I make skateboards, or I want to manage a bar or a restaurant. I want to open up my own fitness place or something. But all those things are still going to kind of fall under the exact same lines as what you're talking about.
Yep.
Under promising, over delivering.
Yep. And you got to make sure that what you're going into, there's a major need for. And honestly, I wouldn't rely on customer, retail, person-to-person business. Whatever I got into in going into the future, or if I was starting out new, I would make sure I could operate it as business to business. Big difference, because businesses make money,
and there's not so many emotions and weird things involved.
Yep.
It's like, hey, what's the bottom line?
Yep. Let's say that you and your family. You have a family, right? You have you and a girlfriend or something, and you guys both have nice cars. You happen to stumble into the detail shop. I do an awesome job on your car. You're like, wow, perfect. You tell your wife, you need your car detailed. Boom, perfect. She gets her car detailed. I'm not going to see you guys again for another year. You want to be able to shake hands with people who can continuously give you work.
That are going to have, because that person is like it's
their job to take.
They need that car cleaned. I need this car sold by next week.
So I can make money.
This other person's just, hey, I need my car cleaned. I got a date.
So the way it would work in terms of any other field, let's say like you're cutting grass, if you were doing a property that there's businesses paying rent on, that they needed the property to look real nice because they have clients coming in, then the landlord is going to look at it as a necessity to have this.
So
place
that's going to be
that's a business to business relationship.
Rather than trying to pitch it to the tenant.
Exactly. You're going to do it one time. The next time you're going to call them and say, hey, can I do this again? You want to get into long-term profitable relationships. And you need to nurture these relationships and grow them to where there's no questions anymore.
Yeah.
There's clients that I deal with that constantly are getting people asking if they can detail cars for them, and they wouldn't dare try somebody else because I make their life so easy.
Because why go try something new, especially when what you have right now is what is just working for you, especially in a world where there's a lot of people over-promising and under-delivering. Oh, we do a great, come on, best detail shop in the city. Come in.
It's most business.
And then they're just flying through it, getting you in and out, taking your money.
Yep. The burger at McDonald's never looks like it does on the picture.
It's true.
See what I'm saying? But yet, imagine going to, there's places that are holes in the wall.
That are just
under promise, over deliver. They give you the best food.
That's true.
See how that works? It creates this it resonates in your brain. Where
that's why
I went to that hole in the wall.
The business to business. See, the hole in the wall. They're at a disadvantage in the sense that they're not a business to business, right? Like they are working with the public,
but they could be.
But because when you're working with the public, weird things come into play, like marketability. What we think is. I think. What's cool, what's trendy. Did the colors of this sign catch me? Was the marketing on point? Like these things come into play with consumers that businesses would give a fuck about.
Don't give a fuck about.
So that's where it's trickier. For a hole in the wall, McDonald's gets more business than the hole in the wall, even though the hole in the wall has a better burger, better customer service, under promise, because the under promise doesn't attract people.
No.
People need the over promise to say, oh, look at McDonald's flashy sign. Look at those burgers on that commercial.
Exactly.
Look at that. Oh my God. And to get them into the line.
Exactly.
So that difference between business and
just person to person is huge.
Wow.
One thing that people ask me a lot about, and I've always kind of considered is like, I hear, people are always like, you don't have a website. You're not really that active on social media. In the way I could do more.
But you don't.
The way I look at it is like this. If I can make it work without it.
If you were a consumer business, then it would make sense.
Yeah.
Because businesses aren't sitting on Twitter and Instagram scrolling through, AutoSkin.
Never.
No.
Never.
They're creating those relationships through word of mouth, through things like that. Yeah.
I am 80% wholesale, business to business, and 20% retail. So on any given day, I do 6 or 7 wholesale cars and I do 1 retail. And
oh, wow.
And so every single day I book 1 appointment. All the attention to make the deadline, I have 1 deadline per day, right? Because the other stuff you can kind of push to the back burner and they're flexible. But the one person who it's his only car, he wants that back that day. He wants it perfect. He wants it dry. And so it's if I had 5 of those a day, it would be a shit show, right? I have 1 deadline. And so it's you gotta, and not all businesses are like that. Some are 80% retail, 20% wholesale, but the wholesale is important too because the whole 20% is probably enough to pay your rent and keep your employees around, right? Yeah. And so it's like that hole in the wall burger place that you're talking about, they could be delivering boxes of burgers to the office building 2 blocks away. You'd never know.
Yeah, you would never know.
You'd never know. There's a new
See, that's a big one.
A new little concept that's going on right now is the whole shared commercial kitchen. So what they'll do is there'll be places in big cities, Seattle, San Francisco, New York, all these places where there's a commercial kitchen. Multiple businesses are ran out of this commercial kitchen, right? And there's nowhere, you can't come in here to buy retail. All it is Uber Eats, Postmark, or what is it? Postmates.
It's for these other businesses.
Yeah,
you can't
because
walk
they
want
to make money, and so you make pizzas. By the way, pizzas you can make so much money making pizza. I mean, dough, sauce, cheese, some toppings. You charge $15 for an artisan style pizza. You're probably in them $2 or $3.
I mean, let's be honest, bro. Like cheese is the new crack.
For real.
Like you could literally probably just be in an alley with some fucking just a couple blocks of Tillamook, just fucking shredding them off
onto a Ritz cracker.
Bro,
You did
anything.
some sales.
You could probably just cut it off with a knife right into their mouth, bro.
For real. And so like there's a new thing popping off where like people are sharing kitchens. It's a business to business entity because it's going to the advertising side of it is somebody else's job, right? If you don't have enough business that day, you shut down. No big deal. There's ain't pizzas available today, and you know you can kind of come and go as you please. There's you're not on the menu today because you're not open today or whatever. But it's becoming more and more popular, a lot more popular. Like middlemaning things is becoming very popular.
Because if you can just be the person to connect two people together, that's got to be the easiest job known to man.
Well, it's easy if you're good at people, right? If you're not good at people, it's terrifying.
Bro, it's really, being good at people, it's a love-hate relationship.
For you, it'd be easy.
It's easy, but
for people who are afraid to speak in front of two people, even to stand up in front of people and say, all right, it's my turn to talk and this is what I want to say, regardless of what you're saying, and they're terrified, is going to be tough.
Isn't it wild how like just some overconfidence and just getting up and just doing it and making it happen can just be like, well, how'd you do that?
Just
like,
got up and did it.
Just fucking did it.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
I just got up and did it.
Well, how do you do that?
You're like, I would have been scared. Yeah, I was scared too.
I just fucking did it.
I just did it.
In a lot of instances too, when it comes to sales, is you're just pretending that you already know. You're like, oh, listen, I've done that. What's up? Hey. And then people, they buy it.
Another good tip for people, and it doesn't matter what field, people like to purchase. They do not like to be sold. So if you can be selling something to someone and you can you can organize it in a way to where they feel like they're purchasing it, and you treat them as a customer that purchased from you, not somebody that you sold something to.
I think a lot of that
makes a big difference.
I think that comes in with like the the word of mouth.
Yeah, it
when
does.
Somebody comes up, it's a lot of it's trust.
Yes,
because there's a lot of fish in the sea, and this can be applied to anything as well. This can be applied to your music page, and the reason that people aren't checking out your music page is because maybe they're afraid to give it a chance.
Yep,
they just are like, this is probably gonna be trash. I'm probably just gonna be wasting my time. I'm probably gonna so.
Here's an example. I don't want to lose it while you were saying that. A good way to, and this is going for anybody who has a song that they know is tight, right? A good way to get ears on it and have people purchase it instead of you selling it, regardless if there's money changed hands. You want people to be the ones that they feel like they figured that song out. Not you said it's hot and it is hot, right? They want to feel like they decided it's hot. A good way for people to do that is to create a video it does nothing to do with you, and your song plays in the background. That's really popular right now.
Yeah.
So people will say that whatever was in that video, that's crazy. That dude did this and that, and he popped a wheelie down the street, and that was crazy. That got my attention. But that song, link that song. Whose song is that? Yeah. That is an example of somebody purchasing.
What's crazy is that goes back to what we were talking about when you stop kind of trying.
Yes, very exactly. But you are trying, but you're backdooring.
You're putting an effort, but you're not. Look at me, my song. It's great. It's awesome. Listen. Bye.
Yep. That's sold.
Like
and then now the other one is, hey, this song is tight. Hey, look at this video. This is funny, but at the same time, you fuck with that song that's playing right now. That's a purchase. And so you
want to get it in front of people without the selling aspect, and that's why shows are so important. When somebody comes to a show to see somebody else, and they happen to catch you, and you're just you were just on. They're just like, oh wow, that was.
Never be afraid to be the first one to hit the stage. Oh, I'm opening. Oh man, I gotta go on at 9, dude. Great. You get the opportunity to have people purchase you.
You know what the big reason is too. The big reason is because they're already undersold. All you have to do is over-deliver.
That's it. All you have to do is get up there and over deliver and leave some passion on the stage when you get off, and people will say, bro, what the fuck? You went on first? Like, what the damn?
You could have headlined
You
the
could have
show.
headlined the show. Da 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 da. And I mean, and you know, that's not an opportunity for you to say, I know, huh? That's an opportunity for you to say, you know, I work hard at this, and it fucking tickles my heart that you fuck with it, man. That's it. You know what I mean? And that right there is going to leave a lasting relationship. They're going to say, this guy opened up for this cat, and it was sick as fuck.
Because there's a lot of people that are just really trying hard.
Oh, yeah.
And they're trying, and they're, you know, that doesn't mean that you open it up. I mean, everybody has a different style, but you're not opening up the show like I'm a headliner, like with a mentality like that. You just put everything into the art and give the people a good show. And I think that when it comes to performing, I think that what a lot of people forget is that it's not about you. Yeah. It's about these people that came out. And that's why there's a lot of things that are important in a live show outside of just playing your music. Totally. You know, crowd interactions, doing things to you've been to a show before, and I know you've seen good performances and bad performances.
They were all undersold. Any performance I've ever seen that I fucked with, I thought for sure I knew what was going to happen, and I had no idea. You know what I mean?
Sometimes that happened, and sometimes it didn't happen.
Yep. I'm trying to think of a good example. But another thing is, as you grow and as you become the headliner, you still have to do that. You still have to take it a notch higher than what people would maybe expect, you know? And I learned that probably after I got done making music, is that, you know, you always have to kind of undersell, over deliver, and when you're at the top of your game and you're the one headlining, you have to create that element to where it's about vulnerability.
I feel like a lot of people get, you know what I mean? You see where a lot of people get lost in the sauce a little bit. Oh yeah. Because once you get popular, it's hard to not fall in the pitfalls, you know, and in the little holes and shit when you're going around and people are just, you know, boosting your ego. And
it's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
And what got you there was this, like, just you being authentic. Yep. And like you said, being vulnerable, putting yourself out there. Right now, what is most popular is being real. I'm so happy that in this world of social media and all these things, that being real is popular.
It is.
I putting your story out there, you know, not just a bunch of fucking things that you're fronting on. People renting cars and renting chains and trying to do all these things, like, you know, the Birdman and Lil Wayne. I mean, I know these guys have money and shit, but like just all that being glorified now is people's like true pain stories, you know, realities, things people can relate to. Seems to be the things that are really being successful. Which
totally,
is cool.
You hit it right on the head. Imagine a painter. Like people who paint on canvas. Now imagine their stuff in a gallery, right? And it's all in the gallery and people love it. The painter's walking around. The artist is walking around, right? He's walking around in the gallery, and let's just say that everybody knows that he's the artist and everybody's telling him how great his art is. They don't want to hear that shit. That's not how that works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because what you just said, the vulnerability, the pain, the realness is how he created those pieces. If he takes that information that people are telling him that he's the man, and then when he takes that back to his paint studio, his style is going to change.
It's going to change. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be bad.
No, but it's going to change from what it will. I mean, you've already got your feedback. And that's why it's dangerous. That's why that type of stuff is dangerous.
Well, you see artists, your favorite artists.
Yeah.
You've seen them when their first album, Hungry.
Yeah. Artists don't sell their paintings. People purchase them.
It's true.
Come on.
But then when people try to sell their paintings and they're not selling, and then you're frustrated. And
that just means that you need to create more. You know, that just means that you got to get in there and tap in to your vulnerability, tap into what made you start doing this, and use your skills to just lay something you actually fuck with in your brain out on canvas, and do that multiple times, and don't show every fucking painting. Yeah. You know, just like get a collection going and put it out there with zero expectation, with the idea that, hey, I want y'all to see this because it's important. And then, you know, let them purchase. you know? But anybody standing in front of a canvas explaining what it is and how cool it is, that shit ain't going to sell.
I think that kind of thinking to yourself, like, you know, I'm not a pro at this.
No.
I'm not that good.
You got to be a student for life.
For life. Because
you have to be a student.
You can't be like, oh, I'm amazing. My paintings are influential and I'm changing the world. But like that, or your music, you know, where you're, you know, you really just need to be like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'm just doing my best. I'm just trying to get better. You know, I'm trying to learn more. I feel like this album was better than my last album.
Kanye West, right there. Okay. Comes out. Everybody loves it. You know what I mean? Like Through the Wire type shit.
Loved it.
Right? Mm-hmm. And then when he starts saying he's the best, when he starts saying, and I mean, you know, that's because of your yes men. Mm-hmm. It's because of the people you're surrounding yourself with, right?
And the fact that you're fucking, you know.
And you're a little loopy.
Well, and you're a millionaire. Like, let's be honest, dude. A lot of validation in this world is money. So it's like if you have done something and then you've been paid millions of dollars for doing that thing, and it's like, dude, obviously what you did is a success. You're a fucking genius. That, you know, and just knowing, you're like, oh, I live in a mansion now. Wow, obviously things are obviously wow. Yep.
I've heard a really smart person say it's not, money isn't the root of evil, it's the love of money. Because once you actually attach yourself to it and it's like, I love it, I look at it every day and I want to watch it grow, then that kind of adjusts your head a little bit. But if you can just forget about it and know, okay, if I do this right, I'll make money. It'll be a lot sometimes. It'll be a little sometimes, but I'm going to try not to not make no money, you know, and which will still happen.
Everything is money, and they just jam it down our throats in every commercial. Like you can't, like, it's so, you can't go anywhere or see anything. I mean, the big thing is that we can control everything, but the way our country runs and shit, it's just pushing people to just spend and spend and spend, which puts this overemphasis on, I need to have more. This guy's got more than me. I'm failing at life because my ranking in this, you know, in the hierarchies of life are dependent on how much money I have and how much money I have saved and how much money my business is making. And
it's a really, really tough mindset to be in by comparing yourself to other people
at all times. Yeah.
And some people are doing it indefinitely. They've been doing it since they were kids. They compared themselves to their brother, and then as they got older, they compared themselves to their like most successful friend, and they just they're holding their self back because they don't want to do that because that won't get them to there because that person's here and yada yada yada. You just need to forget all that, and you just need to think about what you're good at and will people fuck with it? Basically.
Some people become massively successful at 40 years old. And
most people become successful later in life. Most people, it's well into their 30s.
But it's the people, I feel like, that just stay the course, right? It's the people that continuously evolve. Roadblock. Oh, okay. Switch it up. Keep moving.
Yeah.
Oh, roadblock. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Switch it up. Take a little time for yourself. Adjust. Do your thing. Keep moving. It's the people that start to dwell. That darkness starts to kind of take over them. They start to just really doubt themselves, really stop putting in the effort, change, not be doing as good of work or whatever because it's beating you down.
Totally.
And that comes back to just the people that you surround yourself with, because people will be either rooting for you, which I have a lot of people that root for me, and I got a lot of people that I can call, that I can just be like, hey, you know, and they're gonna help me.
You may not see it, but there's a lot of people rooting against you too, for sure. They're just the way that you move you may not see it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is fine because you don't need to see it, but just know that for every person that's rooting for you, there's probably someone who's rooting against you.
I feel like for every person that's rooting for you, there's probably 5 people that are rooting.
Yeah, I didn't want to say more, but I agree with that too. I think it's 5.
But I think that those people are really
they're just struggling.
They're just lost.
Yeah, they're just struggling.
That's just what it is. And like I said, that rooting against you is so quick to turn into inspiration. Now, the people that were rooting against you won't be quick to tell you that they're inspired now, but somewhere down the line in their brain, when they saw what you were doing, they were doubting you and they were kind of hating on it, and then they saw it work. That motivated them in some sense to want to get some, okay.
And don't expect anything from those people, because one day they will purchase. Right now, they still feel like they're being sold. You know what I mean? Oh, but one day they'll be real with themselves and they'll say, that shit was on.
A lot of these things are internal, man, in ourselves. When we're jealous of somebody or we're kind of hating on somebody, I always try to reflect back and kind of look at myself and be like, hey, why are you having this thought? Like, why are you kind of hating on this dude or this, this person or this business or whatever it is, like, and just to make sure that it's from a good place and it's not me just.
Totally. We're all guilty of it. We are all guilty of it. And me included. I just found a way to, once you find an outlet, it's easy to fall back on that when you get in that feeling and you're just like, okay, he's good at that and I'm going to let him be good at that because I'm good at something too.
And you're not in competition. No. You should be just taking the things that you're seeing, good or bad, and gaining knowledge from that.
One of the guys that actually helped me start AutoSkin, he said the very first day I was in business, he said, "Are you ready to work for the hardest boss you've ever worked for in your life?" He's talking about yourself. Yeah. And that's just the way he is.
Because when you fail, you fail hard to yourself. Like nobody's gonna.
You got to be your biggest critic. You got to think you're all right.
If you think
you're awesome all the time, then I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But you just got to be okay with your current situation, And I was raised. I grew up in the east side of Spokane, but went to private school up at Cataldo off of Bernard, which probably means nothing. But for anyone who knows where that school is and how it works and all that stuff, it's like I was surrounded by kids with pretty successful parents. And so it's like in my brain, it just happened to be my situation. Yeah. It's never going to be enough. And I've had to explain that to my wife. She's like, well, when's enough? It's never enough. Okay. Because I don't believe it's enough. Not because anyone else is going to be able to tell me, hey, this is, it's because I'm going to strive until I die.
Bro. And it's that outlet. I think that's like, that was a huge takeaway is like that outlet and like, we all still have that same energy. Whether we were using that energy to hate on somebody or we're using that energy, put that energy into the outlet. So find your outlets. You have multiple outlets. Like working out can be an outlet. Your business can be an outlet. And you're critical upon yourself. But I feel like there's nothing worse than just being stagnant.
That's the worst.
And not having purpose. And just coming home and just every day and you're just not really working towards anything. You're just clocking in and clocking out and you just...
Do you have ADD?
I got ADHD.
Okay, so you were diagnosed as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Me too. So that's everything you just described about like stagnant, that's a fucking nightmare to me.
Nightmare to me too.
It was a nightmare to be sitting on my couch at 1:00 in the afternoon on a weekday watching daytime TV. That is a fucking nightmare. Like that is the worst. That's rock bottom.
I'm thinking think about the unemployment check or whatever coming in.
Oh my God.
And it's fine, right? Your money's fine.
Oh
you
my
don't
God.
You don't need it. You don't need, like, money's not even an issue. You can literally sit here and you're good. Like even if you were to just pay me, it would be
fucking
bothersome.
Nightmare.
Oh,
that would
God.
be a fucking nightmare to me because I have to get what I'm worth. I have to get, and even like, say if I was getting a check, I would be thinking to myself like, okay, like I'm not working for this.
I don't deserve this.
And so I'm not going to utilize those funds correctly at all. I've been through that.
So when you
sat
get
on
money,
unemployment for a year. It was a worst year ever.
Really?
It was the worst year ever. And it sucks because when you're not earning your income, then it just doesn't mean anything to you. You know what I mean? Anything anyone ever gave to me and I didn't have to work for,
playing
I
with it.
hate free things.
I'm just playing with money at that point.
Yeah, I hate free things. If I ever rely on somebody and I'm like, hey, can you do this? And they're just like, yeah, I'll just do it for free. I'm like, no, don't do that for free.
So I get that.
You know what I mean?
Because I love free things. So if anybody wants to send me anything, go ahead.
Yeah,
but
but
at the same time, when I understand that, like when you want, so especially when it comes to a service and somebody wants to do it, they're like, oh no, I'll just take care of it. I'm like, no, I want to pay you.
Yes.
Because I want you to go above and beyond. I want you to take this seriously. And if I give you this money, you're going to be a little bit more motivated to make sure this gets done to the best of the ability. You bring the best out of people. When you give them some type of motivation in this world that we live in, money just happens to be that top motivation.
It's just an icing on the cake. If it was I could detail your car or cut your lawn or something and make it perfect for you and there's no money exchanged and you were just super happy, like super fucking happy. And you're just like, this guy is the shit. I love his service. And it almost equates to the dollar. Where it's just like, boom. We can't survive on that. But if there's no money involved and from here, I do something for you, and then now you're going to do something for me, that would be enough.
Because we have these needs that we're going to use our money for. So it's like, hey, man, I'll fucking cut your grass. You give me a haircut. Like, I was going to spend money on a haircut. Yeah. You just took care of that for me.
Exactly.
Like, I think that's kind of more the neighborly mentality that we need to be in. And I think that we have kind of pushed away. And I get it, man. Like, I'm sitting at the barbershop and I'm sitting around a bunch of older guys and, they're not really on their phones. Like, they're kind of trying to pick a little conversation or trying to do shit like that. And I'm just like the young guy that's just like, God, please don't talk to me. And then I'm just kind of thinking back, like, come on, man. Like, what do you, has the world beat you down like this?
For real.
Come on, man. Like, have a conversation, learn something. Be present in this world right now. So I try to take myself away from my phone and put it down and just be. That's one thing I'm really trying to focus on lately is to be present in the moment. And like in my 20s, I felt a lot of days just kind of. I was
meshing together.
I was just kind of going through shit rather than really being present and appreciating. Wow.
Yep. People will think something's wrong with you if you sit there and you don't look at your phone and you just sit there and you kind of just observe them.
You're attentive. You're just...
and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's uncommon for someone to sit there and kind of just look at what you're doing. And they'll say, how you doing, bro? And be like, everything's good,
I mean, I think it's been like that for a while. I mean, we've kind of been on this trend for a while because even if you look back to the salons in the 90s and shit, it was the People magazine, the newspaper. It's always
to get your attention off. Yeah.
It's always kind of been that, like, well, when you go to a party, right? And there's always things that we're trying to do to take away from the awkwardness of just standing around at a party, right? Because maybe you just got there and you kind of just like...
Yeah, true. That's true.
Especially there's a lot of parties where, the person that threw the party didn't really provide a lot of things to do.
For real.
So you're all just...
Yeah.
So, what are you doing? People are on their phones. They're just trying to twiddle with something to feel a little bit more comfortable because... I don't know what that social feeling is when you're just kind of, you don't feel like locked in yet. You don't feel accepted in yet or comfortable in the situation. So the newspaper, the magazine, the phone, anything to kind of mask having to. I think small talk is tough for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
I like these meaningful conversations, but sometimes the small talk can be a struggle.
Yeah, totally. I routinely ask people what they do. And I mean, I've ran into some issues with it because the person isn't really doing much. And so they kind of feel like I'm, and I've had people say, I don't do shit. You know what I mean? And I fucking love it. It's just that type of personality. And they're just like, I go to work and I work at a fucking, I work at a normal ass place and I'm content. And I fuck with those people too. You know what I mean? I fuck with somebody who just works at a grocery store in the produce department.
I love
produce people. Fucking love their jobs.
I think that you just need to that's another sickness with a lot of people mentally. I feel like is that we gotta be the same to be friends.
Yeah,
we gotta be the same. Like don't take it. Like choose your people wisely, but your people can be into different shit.
Yeah.
Like you can be like, oh, you know, I hate this, but
Yeah.
you know, my friend loves it,
Yeah.
you know? And I mean, that's cool. My friend doesn't need to feel pressured to not like it also just because I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like let's like different shit.
Yep.
And like, let's be friends and appreciate. We don't have to, like, you just want the core values to match up with you, you know? You don't want friends that are obviously running around doing a bunch of fucking shady shit. And you know what I mean? Because that's going to, if you're hanging out with people that are doing weird shit, your name is attached to this now. Oh, that's that guy that Zach hangs out with. Yeah, the guy fucking broke into my car. It's like, oh, whoa, no.
Yeah.
You know, wow. So,
Yeah.
so
That's
you know.
not- Yep.
So in those senses, but
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's
But if some dude just wants to work his 8 hours and come home and play Call of Duty and fucking shit, I'm still gonna come through and smoke a blunt. And,
yeah.
and
Especially if he owns it. Especially if he's just like, dude, I work at the fucking pet store. I fucking deal with people every day, and I make sure they get their cat food, they get their dog food, they get all the and you know what I mean. I don't know if I'll be there in 10 years.
I don't feel like somebody needs to have overly ambitious goals and aspirations for me to hang out with them.
Not at all. Not at all. Now, I fuck with those people who do have those as well.
Well, I line up a little bit more with people who are obviously on those kind of same things, but I think it's very healthy
to have both.
To just have some friends that you just barbecue with. And it's just like, dude, we just talk about sports and chill. And like, it's cool. It's not, you know, and then I have my friends that I dream with. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm trying to do that.
My neighbor works at a place where they make flour. I think it's called ABM. It's in Spokane. The dude is the most laid back dude ever. And it's just kind of like what you're saying. Like he's like, I'll get somebody a job on here, but I need him to stay. I'm like, okay, what kind of, I need him to be here in 20 years. He's been there 11 years. He's just like, I plan on retiring. He's a young cat.
Wow.
He's like, I plan on retiring at this place. He was like, because he's just content with what he has going on because he's got other shit.
Well, that kind of lines up with what you were saying about the happiness and not the money and these things. Like, I mean, if money comes into play to like, hey, my bills are paid. I make enough to be able to go take trips. You know, I got a nice whip. I fucking, you know, like, like whatever your needs are, they're met.
Yep.
You're happy. You know, there's not everybody needs to have this over, you know, to fucking get and grind. I need more and more and more. Some people are just like, dude, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
and so
honestly, it can be poisonous, I feel like, when people want more and more.
A perfect relationship, a perfect room full of friends for me is a couple people who are crazy about goals, a couple people who are just laid back. You know, a couple friends that are females that you're not trying to fuck. You know what I mean? And nobody in the room is really trying to fuck them.
Bro, and I'm talking about
like that's
older
a perfect
friends,
situation.
Younger friends.
Yeah, all of it.
Especially in our 30s, bro, we're kind of like getting toward, you know, we're like in the middle. So it's like I'll have some friends that are 21, 22, 23, some friends that are 28, some friends that are
35,
38, 40, 45.
Yeah.
Like I think that you could, you know, don't put yourself in a box with like, oh, I just need to hang out with other 30-year-olds and they need to be of my mentality. You don't want an echo chamber either where you're just surrounding yourself with people who share the same views as you that are going to tell you things you want to hear. That we need different opinions. We need different. That's how we learn. That's how we get better. So
love it. That's exactly true. Yep.
How you feeling, bro?
Feeling good. I'm ready. I keep staring at this joint.
Fucking light that shit up, bro. We're about to be done with this.
Let me see the lighter real quick.
One thing I want to know is, I want to know how you feel. Like, you think that people can just make music and art and things like that for fun? Like, you know, start a business, have a business, and just, have you thought of making music just for fun? Or
I think about making music.
Is it an all or nothing thing?
I think about making music every single day. Every single day, it crosses my mind, and I consider writing a song, looking up beats. It's every day, okay? And yes, I think to answer your question, yes, I think you can do it as a hobby.
Or is there a burning, you know, for you in particular, I guess, is there like as soon as you flip that switch on, is it just go time and then you're back
for what, for music
for music and you're wanting to just market it and create it in videos and it just starts consuming you, or can you kind of just make write a song and just put it out? And
let's put it like this: I barely can listen to music. And you might not know that about me, but sometimes you'll ask me, hey, what do you listen to?
Well, you're always showing me good shit.
Well, I mean, sometimes I have nothing. A lot of times I have nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Because when I listen and I hear and I'm able to like put myself in a moment and catch a vibe. You
get inspired.
I get really inspired. Mm-hmm. And at the same time I'm inspired, I'm also the biggest critic of myself. And so I'm thinking to myself, but how is that going to equate? And so it honestly, listening to good music, this is bad, but I'm going to share it. Listening to good music kind of fucks with me. Listening to the radio doesn't do anything.
But when you listen
to something that's super good, watching y'all perform, listening to John's track, Make It Right, which we're releasing here pretty soon, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Listening to stuff like that fucks with my head, bro.
Like it gets you wanting to fucking...
It gets me wanting to stop everything I'm doing now and go back to...
You know what's crazy?
Creating music.
That's how powerful that the feeling is to create something beautiful. Mm-hmm. And especially when I see there's something in there where it's like, that you have the ability. Mm-hmm. And... Because let's be honest, like I think a lot like me and you, I can't really speak for Mike, but we make music for ourselves.
That's exactly
in a lot of instances.
Yes.
Like we're not making music for, I'm trying to make the new hottest track. What kind of beats are popular? You're finding something that resonates with you, and then you're kind of, as that beat plays, at least for me, it'll start kind of painting the picture about what this is going to be about. So the beat will kind of tell me what the song is going to be about, So
that's how you know you're good at it.
If it's got a beach vibe.
You're an artist. Just imagine, take a paintbrush, put it in your hand, and get in front of a canvas, lyrically, right? And you're explaining art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When somebody just puts a beat on and they're like, oh, this song has to be about girls or this or that and the other, that ain't art. Mm-hmm. But the way you just described the way you like to make music, that's art. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, it's going to speak to me,
Well, because it speaks to me.
Yes.
So if I can get it to speak to me and you fuck with me, then it's going to speak to you.
You have to be able to translate your funny language, which we call music, and you have your own style, right? You got to figure out a way to translate that to the people, and then it's up to you. It's a responsibility you have in your brain to be like, I got to make this pop. I got to do this and that, and that's what ends up happening to me when the more and more I get into music is I start doing it for other reasons, where I need to be doing it for myself, And just like a business, how you want to do better and better each year, I could never top none of the first music I made.
You could.
I've wrote a lot of music after I've wrote music, and I could, in my brain, it was not as good.
Well,
so it was never released.
So, but another part about it is, I mean, I guess if it's not good, it's not good to you, but I just feel like it's going to be different, but not necessarily worse. Mm-hmm. It's like you listen to The Harvest, and it's very special because you were able to create a vibe where you can go back and you can remember all those times, and you can remember that house, and you can remember
every single song,
the trips, and you can remember everything that was happening at that time. Yep. That is what is so fucking beautiful about it for us.
Yeah,
is it can bring us. It's a sonic tattoo, man, and it's like it's there forever. That exists,
Yeah,
that's a way for us to express ourselves.
It's challenging, and it's what's the word if you're not sure and you're scared to even try, right? It's like you don't know the outcome with new music. This is just me and how I overthink things, But now put a pause on that and take it to something where you know the outcome. I guess it's a safe bet, for what I'm doing
because
now, because I know it'll pay off.
Because what if you just you're working at the detail shit, but in your spare time, and I'm just saying metaphorically, like for anybody who was in this situation, they have a job, and you just made music with no expectations.
That would be the way to go.
And then you put it on Spotify, and then a playlist picked it up, and someone's like, wow, this is amazing. And you're like, oh, it is?
That would be the way to go.
Hey, there's a demand of people that want you to tour. We kind of need you to. You're going to need to do, and then maybe that's the right way to do it, rather than, trying
and having
shoving
expectation,
jamming, and exactly, and then getting disappointed because you're right.
Yeah, no, totally. If I could wrap my brain around making that okay, then I'd totally,
No, really, it's like art. Stop trying. Put effort in. Do, but stop trying.
Put effort in and do, but stop trying.
Do it for yourself.
That's actually a really good point. Just bust out the canvas, get out the paint, and lay it down, and don't have no expectations. And I mean, some people may be different. Some people may be able to create it in a way where they can kind of see the end goal, and that's a special fucking person.
Or some people already move.
You know who seems like does
care.
that? He just released a song.
TS.
You hit it.
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like he kind of knows where the end goal is on those tracks?
I feel like
you know what I mean? There's no way he's not thinking that ain't gonna go.
I feel like TS is just moving with a purpose. TS is one of those people I look up to because he doesn't focus on the glitz and the glamour and all this other shit. He just focuses on he does it right, and he just focuses on doing it right, and gaining knowledge and getting better, and you're gonna find your place in this universe, man.
Spokane got a gem when he came to town. Just imagine if that wasn't because whether people admit it or not, they look at the way that stuff is created, and they're like, okay, maybe I need to take a little more time. Like, people are jacking people's style and the way that they release shit constantly. I noticed it too back in the day, but I mean, the way that you take it is a way that you learn a lesson, but it's not necessarily like you're going to go out there and say, I learned this from this cat.
Nobody ever pays anybody fucking homage for the shit they learn.
Exactly.
But TS, man, the thing that's so great about him also is that it's so effortless.
Yeah.
When he does a song, it just sounds good.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like
he's forcing it at all.
No.
Yeah. No, that's a real good artist.
You heard the new one?
He's a good art. Yes. I mean, I heard it on his Instagram. I didn't have to hear much of it.
Yeah.
To love it. You know what I mean? It's like looking from a painting from across the fucking room.
So what do you think?
And it's like, that's tight.
So what do you think is the defining factor, like, between somebody looking on the Instagram story, right? Because you looked at the Instagram story, you loved the song from what you heard, but it wasn't enough for you to be like, well, I'm going to open this on Spotify, I'm going to add it, I'm going to save it, I'm going to playlist it, I'm going to buy it.
That's just my own thing. Everybody's different, right?
Right? But I think that it's more of a trend now. I just think that that songs are, they're, I don't know if there's just so many of them or something. Before, like, a song would come out and be like, whoa, this song is a song. Like, it was like such a big deal, and now it's just like a song. Yeah, I'll get to it. It's fine. I'll probably hear it.
It'll never go away. So I'll listen to it one day when it naturally comes into my ears.
But even when you see it and you hear it and it's amazing and you love it, sometimes that isn't enough. And I don't really think
you to seek it out.
But outside of being like 6'9" or something like that, and like doing rainbowed hair and tatted, like trying to do everything possible to just get people to fucking actually go, okay, let me look a little deeper, or whatever it is, whatever the gimmicks are that people use. I think that what TS does is the most authentic way, because you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
He's gonna get you there.
Yep.
So with that said, I'm gonna say, hey, Joe, plug TS, man. Fucking go in there, catch that song. I was just gonna say,
yeah. What's it called? Ray's son, or he'll look it up. TS The Solution.
Yeah, what's his new song called?
T.S The Solution, I believe. Yeah, on Spotify. It's sick, and this is coming from people who make art.
And then Mike also just had a song come out with DJ Spicy Ketchup, Loverboy. Great.
Same vibe. It's like it's same thing. Like you can see from across the room that's tight, and You know, not everything that's super tight do you want to dive into and figure all out. And that's kind of how that is. You know, it's like, you know, they're force feeding us the stuff that's all right, but the stuff that's the best, it's almost like you want to, you know, kind of back away from. I remember telling you a long time ago, like seeing somebody live, it kind of ruins it for me.
I was actually explaining this. You got it?
Yes, it's California Ray.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
California
sick.
Rays. Go check that out. But I remember I was telling somebody, and that's TS The Solution, California Rays, just so you guys know. Go check it out.
Yeah.
I remember telling somebody recently about that, and I was like, you know, how my friend thinks that that an artist, like, it loses the mystique.
Yeah,
for
that
him.
was me. That was me and you talking. And all I can say is that it makes it real. And if it becomes real to me, where I can see them and it's them doing it, then I can, for some reason, I look at not only the good, because the good came to me instantly. That's why I loved it. But I start to kind of notice the bad.
And it just kind of makes it less special.
And then it brings it down for me. You know what I mean? And I would prefer to just consider you like a mythical character.
And I mean, even when you see a video.
Yeah.
Like a music. So, like, for instance, like Rex Life Raj.
Perfect example.
Yeah, like I remember you found him. You were just like, listen to this song, and then
then I saw him, and I was.
And it just the thing is, this is also like the same comparison as reading a book or watching a movie. You know, you're gonna watch the movie, and they're gonna lay out what the characters look like and what the dragon looks like, or whatever.
Yeah.
All these things. Whereas when you're reading the book, you're really you're creating the things that what you want them to look like. What which is just so much more of a magical experience.
I just thought of something, and I keep going back to this because I feel like it's like the rawest form of creation. Imagine if, like, you're balling, you have paintings on the wall, and you get an opportunity, and they're all from the same artist, and you get an opportunity to meet the guy, and it's just not the guy that you expected in your brain.
Yeah, he's a dick.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, he just doesn't look like the guy, and he's like, that's me. Those are my paintings, and it's like, whether you'll take them off the wall or not, that's a different discussion, but I feel like it brings it down.
It definitely just loses, like...
Oversell, under-deliver is kind of what's going on there.
But there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
It's not their fault. What am I supposed to not do live shows?
Yeah, exactly. So the point is being selective.
What about what about like artists like the Gorillaz?
Fucking genius. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like, you never know what they look like.
Genius. I've thought about that. The whole Dead Mouth thing was, where's that thing? It's fucking marketing gold. Because in your brain, you wouldn't dare put a human's face on that.
But what's crazy is then you have like Eminem, who has made money just like looking like, just a regular dude.
Far and few between.
But I think that's a thing of the past. I think that people, and we were talking about authenticity too, which is actually this is contradictive to that. But we were talking about how, you got to be your most authentic self. And that's the thing that's selling the most these days. But there's also the opposite spectrum of that, which is, or the opposite end of the spectrum, which is, that mystique.
Yes.
There's something special about that.
The mystery.
When you hear a song and you haven't seen the video and you're creating things in your head, it's kind of like, when you have like an event in this weekend and you haven't been to the venue, you don't know it, and you're you have it all imagined a certain way, and then you get there and you're like, and you're either let down or you're like, oh wow, this is better than I thought, but
exactly.
You kind of
now and then now you form an opinion. And after you form an opinion, it's your thought, and then from then you may tell somebody, "Oh, this is what I think about that." When it's almost it's more kid-like and joyful to just have that wondery and be like, "Oh, the knit." But then you go and you perform at the Knitting Factory, and you're like, "Damn, this place is pretty fucking ghetto."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just this weird thing. And it's not everybody. It's just me. I'm probably the weirdest fucking person when it comes to that. But I would prefer to have the music, the art, the creative things that I look at. I'd prefer to keep a mystery as long as I can. And I mean, like, that doesn't mean I'm not going to eventually go look it up.
Or what does that fit into, like, you know, supporting the artist that you love? You know what I'm saying? Because that's where, like, artists survive, right? Is people, like, going to the show, people buying the merch, people watching the video, people doing those things. So it's like, if you know, I don't want to urge people to do that or to not do that, because I want more of a connection between the artists, but I totally understand the mystique end of it too.
Imagine 5 years goes down the road and you went to the show of the artist you like when he came to town every single year. Like, eventually you're not gonna go.
I mean, it just kind of, I've done that. Like, there's artists that I've seen that they're gonna come back, and I'm like, I'm good.
You know what I mean? And it's
but that's just me. Some people are just show people, and they just want to go. But me, I just, like, it's like a movie. It's like, if I've seen it.
Exactly.
I'm good.
And so I want to keep as many of those gems in my brain that I think are larger. And believe me, if I'm dragging my feet on seeing you live, it's because I fuck with you. It's so backwards. It's so backwards.
Because if an artist comes out, like, you know, and
I think that's the artist in us.
If I've seen somebody and I'm like, I've seen them, it's like movie, I've seen it, I don't need to go see it again. But I've heard them, like, they dropped a new album or something, they have a song on there that I'm like, wow, really love this. Then I'll find myself back there to see the new performance or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
But maybe that is the artist in us, where it's
the artist in us, because we create as well, and we want to be able to. I mean, like, it's you know, it's the wonder. And so us creating, we don't know when we're going into something creating if it's going to be if it's going to be good or not. And so when we see something like that, I don't know. It's just the way it is for us people who make art. You know. I
think maybe we just take what we need from seeing that live performance or whatever, and then we move on to, we need something new. Yeah. Because I take stuff from folk bands, rap artists, rock. Reggae, just seeing live performances is really powerful. But and we got off on quite a tangent, man.
That's all good.
It's all good. You know, probably a good time to fucking wrap this bitch up, man. We get this day started. It's cool. Kind of cloudy, but maybe we go throw some discs or something.
Yeah, something. Let's go do something fun.
Yeah. Well, we want to plug the people. Your where they can find you, where they can find your business.
If you want to get your car cleaned, or if you just want to stop by and say what's up. It's going to be AutoSkin Detail. We are located on Trent in Spokane, and we just basically clean cars, make cars that are worn out, and we make them look new again. That's all we do. So, and then on Instagram, I'm at IMperfect Cody. So that's how you'd find me.
Boom. Alrighty, guys. Cody, thanks for coming in, man. Chilling, of course. You're a beautiful man. And you're doing the Lord's work, so.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right.
All right, guys. Love you. Peace.
Peace.
Yo, I'm just happy to be here. I mean, let's be honest, bro. Like, all those little crevasses, like, you could literally probably just be in an alley with some fucking, just a couple little tools, just fucking shredding them off to people. You could probably just cut it off with a knife right into their mouth, bro.
And that right there is going to leave a lasting relationship. They're going to say, this guy's sick as fuck.